This lesson focuses on spelling patterns for the sounds s and k. As a friendly reminder, be sure to listen. Otherwise, you will miss out on important information. Your cue words for this lesson are phonetic symbols, spelling patterns, s patterns, and k patterns. When we talk about phonetic symbols, we are talking about phonetics, which is the relationship between a sound and its symbol. The symbol for a sound is most often a letter or letter combination from the alphabet. Putting a letter inside a pair of slant brackets shows that we are talking about a sound and not the actual letter. Why would it be important to be able to distinguish between letters and a phonetic symbol? For example, what's the difference between S and S? Write your answers in your notes. Pause your video now and think about the question, then write the answer in your note. Spelling patterns relate to the way we make up our sounds. Sometimes letters in English make more than one sound, which means S and S are different because while S does make S, S is not the only thing that makes the S sounds. If we're talking about S sounds, we're talking about more than one letters. That is to say, it is important to know the difference between a letter and a phonetic symbol so that we can determine whether we're talking about spelling or hearing a sound. Remember, also in English, some letters make more than one sound. Name and list the group of letters that makes more than one sound in your notes. Also, some sounds are made by more than one letter. In each case, there are certain patterns that suggest spelling rules for these sounds, and these patterns will help us become better spellers. Our S patterns talk about the different ways to spell the S sound. When these patterns are used, what I want you to do is to list the different ways that you can spell the S sound and try and guess the percentage of time these patterns are followed. I'll look for your guesses in your notes. So, pause the video, write down what are the ways to spell the S sound and how often you think these patterns are used. S can be spelled as S, SS, SC, CE, CI, and CY. A single S spells S, the S sound, most often, about 75% of the time. So if you're not sure what spelling a single S is your best guess. A C spells S if it's followed by E, I, or Y, and this pattern occurs about 20% of the time. SC or SS spell S about 5% of the time, and that's put together. And if we're trying to make the K sound, we spell that with the letter X. I want you to practice sorting the following words by their S spelling pattern. Set up a chart in your notes column, and sort the student's address, muscle, celebrate, serious, consider, forgetfulness, dissent, endless, fascinate, anticipate, and cylinder by the way their S sounds are spelled. Then go back and add one word to each spelling pattern column. Pause your video and do your practice. Now check your work. You should have sorted your words in the following ways. The words that you added to the column will vary. Moving on to k patterns, which of course are ways that we spell the k sound. Once again, I want you to tell me the different ways to spell the k sound and try and guess when these spellings are used. Again, I will be looking for this in your notes, so pause your video, write down the different ways to spell the k sound, and guess how often they are used. K can be spelled as C, K, CK, CH, and KU or QU. The single C spells K, the K sound, most of the time, about 75%. And when C spells K, the K sound, the C is usually followed by A, O, U, L, or R. A K spells K about 13% of the time, and less frequently, K is spelled by CK, CH, CC, which is very rare, or KK. QU spells the K sound, and X spells, of course, the K sound. So, these are the different ways. Pay most attention to C, since C is always followed by A, O, U, L, or R, with very rare exception when it spells the K sound. If you see that combination, you know you have a K sound for the C and not a S sound. Take some time to practice. Sort the following K words by their spelling pattern. Then add one word to each spelling pattern column. Attack, stomach, occasion, case, consider, kind, keep, kite, come, Hanukkah, cane, and kids. Create a chart in your notes column and sort each word into the column by the way their K sound is spelled. Pause your video now and take care of your practice. The following shows how you should have sorted those words by setting up your columns. And now what you need to do is go to Edmodo and take the practice quiz, then go back and refresh your notes. Look at the questions you got wrong and find the right answers in the lesson. Correct them in your notes. Make sure you're filling out your summary section. You should write down questions you have over the lessons and things that you didn't understand.